What is up, guys? It's ya boy, Rick. Eris turned me into a weapon. Cacus here. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel, and let me know what you think my next intro name should be. That comment section is absolutely wild. Alright, today we are going to be showcasing one of the brand new exotic armor pieces added to Destiny 2 with Season of the Lost. And this is actually going to be the no backup plans exotic gauntlets for the Titan. Now, you acquire these through legendary Lost sectors. They were available the first day Season of the Lost went live from the Master Lost Sector Perdition. It was 1350 light. It was no walk in the park, but ya boy is a grinder, and I had to get these things to show off to you guys. So what do they do? Well, the intrinsic exotic perk is Force Multiplier. When you have full melee energy, shotgun final blows activate your defensive strike and consume your melee energy. Shotgun final blows also give you melee energy. So let's take a look at Defensive Strike, because that's actually a perk, a melee ability in the top tree Sentinel subclass. So we can see right here, Defensive Strike says, defeat an enemy with this melee ability to create an overshield around you and nearby allies. Final blows grant melee energy when this overshield is active. So, those two things, the exotic and defensive strike, actually work together pretty darn well, and there's a little bit more going on with this exotic than there may appear. Firstly, we have the defensive strike activation. That is pretty much what it says in the perk. If you have full melee energy, you can basically choose to either melee kill an enemy, which will activate defensive strike, or now you can just kill them with a shotgun, and that will auto-activate Defensive Strike. And you can see in the background gameplay that happening quite a bit. I just get a kill with a shotgun, and boom, I have an overshield automatically. And then, as I'm getting kills with that overshield active, Defensive Strike is getting me more melee energy back, and I'm also now getting melee energy for getting kills with my shotguns. And you can see that again happening. As I'm getting kills, it's basically treating my shotguns like they have, the Demolitionist perk, but now for melee. Like, each kill is going to bump up your melee energy by just a little bit. However, this is actually an important thing to note. When I first read this, I thought, okay, well, you just run Top Tree Sentinel all the time. But it turns out this intrinsic exotic perk is kind of two perks in one. The defensive strike activation thing is its own thing off on the side. Because, guys, the shotgun final blows grant melee energy part actually works for any melee ability. You can see right here, I'm Top Tree Sentinel, I get a shotgun final blow, I get a little chunk of melee energy, alright? That is pretty much what you expect. But now I'm going to switch all the way to Thunder Crash, like a completely different subclass, but I still get that little bump to my melee energy when I get shotgun final blows. It's not quite as much because, you don't have the defensive strike activating at the same time, which also grants you melee energy, but you can clearly see my melee jumps a little bit with each shotgun final blow. So, even though I think this works best with Defensive Strike, you could technically put this on and run any subclass just using it for that free melee energy when you get shotgun final blows. So keep that in mind. But if you are using Defensive Strike, you can actually put together a pretty effective shotgun build, because it turns out basically getting a free overshield once every few kills is very darn powerful. So let's take a look at the build I kind of found to be the most effective when running these exotics for PvE. So firstly, we need a good shotgun, so I'm going with the 7th Seraph CQC. So first off, this thing is going to produce Warmind cells, which are still pretty decent, especially since Bungie, I guess, forgot to nerf Global Reach. That mod still only costs 1 energy, but importantly, this thing has lead from gold. Picking up heavy ammo also grants ammo to this weapon. That's important, we'll explain why in a sec. And then it has Trench Barrel, so if you do get a melee hit, it's going to to massively increase your damage by 50% for the next 3 shots. And that's really easy to do, dive in with a melee attack when you're getting overshields. But our next weapon is really what ties the build together. It just says shotgun final blows. It doesn't care if you have a heavy shotgun like the Tractor Cannon Exotic Shotgun. So this has the exotic perk Repulsor Force. This weapon emits a powerful impulse that pushes enemies away, suppresses their abilities, and makes them more vulnerable to all incoming damage. It also has another unique perk here called the Scientific Method, which says damaging an opponent temporarily increases speed and handling. So these two things together, the Tractor Cannon plus a good shotgun that has lead from gold, means that you almost never run out of ammo because your ammo perks are working double duty. That's especially important now that you can only put on 1 scavenger mod. So you have your shotgun scavenger, you have 2 shotgun finders, and even when it activates for the Tractor Cannon and you get heavy, it's also going to be giving you more special ammo. So using that combination, I basically never ran out of shotgun ammo despite constantly using shotguns for pretty much every darn kill. And the Tractor Cannon, whew, it is fantastic against PvE enemies. Like, you slide in, you shoot, and you can decimate a whole group of red bars, getting like 4 kills with 1 single shot. Against more powerful enemies, it's going to debuff them as well, so you can switch to your trench barrel shotgun and do a ton of damage to them. So I really enjoyed this build. And again, with no backup plans, you do get a big degree of survivability. The best part about these exotic gauntlets by far is not the instant activation, although that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about running in for a melee kill. You can get an easy shotgun kill to get your overshield, but it's really just about giving shotguns the ability to regen your melee energy. That means you're constantly chaining defensive strike. A lot of the time, guys, because you're extending defensive strike and it's working to get you melee energy and shotguns are getting you melee energy, I would have an overshield up for an entire fight. Like, I would get my melee energy back and reactivate defensive strike before the first defensive strike wore out. Like, it was constantly chaining upon itself, and that is absolutely nothing to scoff at. That is actually what you do want in a shotgun build. You are going to be playing a lot more aggressively, you're going to be in enemies' faces. Having a pretty big overshield almost all the time is really darn good. Now, in PvP, it's a little bit more interesting. Taking away your melee energy for getting a shotgun kill could sometimes hurt you. Sometimes you want that associated with your melee hit. Sometimes you want to shotgun and then run in with that melee and then activate defensive strike. Perhaps you want to shotgun the first guy and then go in with a double melee on the second guy. So it is all about timing. With that being said, it could also be advantageous to get that shotgun kill and instantly activate that overshield if there's a second guy shooting at you. So it is just going to involve you recognizing that's going to happen and potentially changing your playstyle accordingly. And so, guys, with all of that being said, are these going to be the next meta exotic? Well, I don't think so. Simply put, they don't do enough to compete with the existing S-tier exotics. However, they're a good bit of fun. They have a surprise factor if you do use them in PvP because no one's expecting you to randomly get an overshield without having to melee anybody. And they are surprisingly effective in PvE if you do put together a double shotgun build like I showed you. So they're definitely, I think, worth getting, but there's also not a big rush to go out and get them right now. And so, guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.